All right, everyone, get ready for today's deep dive, because it's a little different. We're taking a look at a resume.
Okay. A resume deep dive. Interesting.
But it's not just any resume. It's the career path of this guy, JamesK. And let me tell you, it's pretty wild.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So we're talking law degrees, then switching over to tech sales, and then, like, massive global growth.
Global growth.
Yeah. So you ready to kind of like uncover the story behind this guy's career?
Yeah, let's dive in. I'm curious.
Okay, so right off the bat, the thing that jumps out at me is that he goes from having a law degree to doing telecom sales.
Yeah, that is interesting. You don't see that every day.
No, not at all.
So he starts at Airtel, which, like everyone knows, is a huge player in Africa, and boom, 600% customer base growth.
Wow.
Which, that's not just like being a smooth talker. It means he understands the market, and he's got to be good at connecting with people.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, was he always into tech, but just decided to study law? Or did he see this huge opportunity in telecom and just kind of jumped in? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it really makes you wonder what made him switch over like that. I mean, was there something else driving him?
Right. Like maybe he just needed a fast-paced environment.
Maybe. It does make you think about transferable skills, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about what you need to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Sharp analysis, you got to communicate well, build a case. I mean, all that stuff. It works for sales, too, right?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe he just saw that connection early on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so then we get to Motorola Solutions, right? And he's got this territory. It's making like $400,000 in revenue.
Okay.
Turns it into, get this, $1,200,000.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's good at sales. We get it.
I know, right? But here's the thing. It's how he did it that's really interesting.
Well, let's hear it then. How'd he do it?
Okay, so it wasn't just closing deals. It was strategy.
Right.
Like he was building a network.
Okay, so he was playing the long game.
Yeah, exactly. He actually raised this thing called the run rate threshold, which basically means he was closing bigger deals on average. And on top of that, he brought in 25 new partners.
So this guy, he's not just thinking about today's sale. He's setting himself up for success down the line.
Exactly. It's like he's thinking 10 steps ahead,
Yeah.
you know? It's not just about winning today.
Yeah, it's like he's building a whole system for success.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so then Zebra Technologies.
Oh, yeah. Zebra Technologies. This is where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking top performance all the time. He's managing the financials.
Oh, so he's doing like P&L stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. For a big chunk of the business. And he's crushing those sales targets year after year.
I mean, it's not just meeting expectations at this point. It's like blowing them out of the water.
Yeah, like exceeding every goal they set for him.
And bringing in even more revenue. Landing big partners like Reddington Gulf SCE LLC. And leading a team too.
Leading and growing a team.
Yeah.
This is where you really start to see his impact.
For sure. So there's this story about a partner that he brought on board, this company called CompuLinks.
Okay. CompuLinks.
Yeah. They ended up winning this like most outstanding performance award because they closed this huge deal with Nakumatt, that big retail chain in Kenya.
Right, yeah.
And that just shows you what building these strong partnerships can do.
It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what he accomplishes on his own. It's about how he helps other people succeed too.
Okay, so now let's jump ahead to his current role, which is at Entrust Corporation. So now he's in charge of sales for East Africa, and they do ID issuance solutions.
ID issuance solutions.
Yeah, so think like passports, driver's licenses, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a niche market, but again, you see that upward trajectory. His career keeps climbing.
I mean, not only that, his responsibilities grow to cover West Africa, too.
Yeah, it's like Entrust is saying, hey, we see what you can do. We trust you.
Right. They see his potential. And, of course, he comes through. 18% year-over-year growth.
The guy just delivers consistently.
Yeah, he's definitely a high performer. But you know what stands out to me the most?
What's that?
His dedication to learning. Like, this guy is always trying to improve himself.
Right. Look at the list of courses and certifications he's done. It's crazy.
I know, right? Artificial intelligence, business strategy, cultural intelligence, leadership development. It's like he's not just keeping up with the times, he's trying to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. He's not settling.
It's pretty inspiring, honestly. He's not just sitting back and being like, I'm good.
Yeah.
He's always pushing himself to learn more.
It takes real dedication to do that, a real drive to keep learning.
Absolutely. So it makes you wonder, like, What are some skills that you focused on to stay on top of your game?
That's a really good question. And honestly, I think it's a question everyone should be asking themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, things are changing so fast these days, you can't just stop learning, right?
No, absolutely not.
It's like if you're not learning, you're falling behind.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy, Kimweti, he clearly gets that.
Oh, for sure. He embodies that whole philosophy.
He's like, all right, I've got this, so what's next?
It's a great mindset to have.
It is, especially in like tech.
Yeah.
Things are always changing there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And it's not even just learning new stuff, it's connecting the dots,
Yeah.
Seeing how different skills can work together.
Right.
Like, look at this guy. Law background and then all this sales experience and boom, he's a leader, a strategist. It's all connected.
That's what's so interesting to me. He didn't follow the typical path. He could have been a lawyer, but he saw something else and just went for it.
Yeah, he forged his own way. And you see that risk-taking throughout his whole career.
Yeah, for sure.
Like moving to Entrust. That was a big leap.
Yeah, ID issuance solutions. That's pretty specialized.
Yeah.
It's not like telecom or anything he did before.
Totally different world. But he did great.
He did. So that tells me he's adaptable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's not just good at one thing.
Right. He's got the core skills, communication, analysis, strategy, and he can use them anywhere.
Exactly. And that's something everyone listening should think about.
It is.
You can't just specialize in one tiny thing anymore.
Nope. Not these days.
You gotta be versatile. Learn quickly, adapt to whatever gets thrown at you.
I like to think of him as a chameleon, kind of blending in while still being himself.
Oh, that's good. That's a good analogy.
Thanks. So at Entrust, we see he's not just adaptable, he's building things too. Taking on more responsibility, West Africa, all that growth.
Yeah, building and growing.
But here's the thing. We've talked about all the good stuff. What about the tough times?
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Every career has bumps in the road.
Exactly.
I'm sure there were setbacks. We just don't see them on a resume.
Right. We're getting the highlight reel.
But it's important to remember, success doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. It's not a straight line.
There are always challenges.
And it's how you handle them that matters.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about resilience. Learning from mistakes.
Bouncing back.
Exactly. Having that grit to keep going, even when it's tough.
I love that. So think about your own career. What were some of your challenges? How did you deal with them? What did you learn?
It's all part of the journey, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And sometimes those tough times teach you the most valuable lessons.
For sure. So before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to go back to something you mentioned.
Okay.
Transferable skills.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
It is. This guy's story really shows how powerful they can be.
Yeah, law school to sales, to leadership, strategy, everything.
He took what he knew and made it work in all these different situations.
Like he cracked the code.
It's something we can all do. Identify those core skills we have.
Communication, problem solving, all that.
And find ways to use them in different ways and different places.
It's like having a superpower.
It is. Take those skills with you wherever you go. Open up new possibilities.
So if we had to sum up this guy's journey, what would you say are the key takeaways?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Strategic thinking, for sure. Adaptability. And that constant desire to grow, to learn more.
Not being satisfied with just okay.
Yeah, he was always looking to improve, innovate, make a real impact.
And he wasn't afraid to take risks, to try new things, even if they were outside his comfort zone.
Absolutely. He had the courage to make his own path.
Which takes a lot of self-belief.
It does. And those are all qualities that are so important if you want to succeed, especially in today's world.
No doubt about it. So as you think about everything we've talked about today, I want you to ask yourself a question.
Okay.
Hit us with it. This guy, he goes from law to tech sales. What does that tell us about what it takes to succeed these days?
That's a good one. It tells me that just being good at one thing isn't enough anymore.
It's not.
You got to be more well-rounded. You got to be adaptable, keep learning.
It's not just technical skills, it's those softer skills too, right?
Oh, yeah. Communication, being able to work with people, think critically, those are all essential.
Absolutely. It's about being a lifelong learner and embracing new challenges and not being afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This guy's journey really shows us what we're capable of.
It's pretty inspiring.
If you have the right mindset and you're willing to adapt, you can do amazing things.
Yeah, it really is. It gives you a lot to think about. So what can we learn from this guy's journey? What can we actually apply to our own careers?
I think one of the biggest things is that you got to keep learning. Like, he didn't just stop with his law degree. He kept going, always learning new stuff.
Yeah, all those courses, all those certifications, it's like he knew that learning never stops.
And he was right. It really doesn't, especially these days.
Things are changing so fast.
All the time. New tech, industries getting disrupted. What's hot today might be gone tomorrow.
You almost need a crystal ball to see what's coming next.
Almost. But even without one, we can still be ready. Be adaptable, stay curious, keep learning.
Just like Kamwedi. He didn't just sit back and wait for knowledge to find him. He went out and got it.
Exactly. Took courses, got certified, always pushing himself.
He totally had that growth mindset thing figured out.
Way before it was a buzzword. He saw every experience as a chance to learn and get better.
And that's what let him make such a huge change in his career, from law to tech sales. That's a big jump.
Totally different worlds. It takes guts to do something like that. You got to be okay with not knowing what's going to happen.
It's like he could spot opportunities and wasn't afraid to go after them.
And that brings us to another big lesson from his story. You got to be adaptable. He didn't let his law background box him in.
He used it as a foundation and built on it.
Exactly.
Like he took the best parts of both worlds, the analytical skills, the communication from law school, mixed it with his love of tech and his drive to succeed in sales, and it all worked.
Powerful combination. And it shows us that we can do the same thing. We all have our own unique skills and experiences.
We just got to figure out how to use them in different situations.
Make them work for us.
So to everyone listening, I want you to remember this. Don't be afraid to explore. Don't be afraid to try new things, even if they make you a little uncomfortable.
Get out of that comfort zone.
And never stop learning.
Because the only thing that stays the same is that things are always changing.
True that. And the best way to deal with that, be adaptable, be curious, and be open to whatever comes next.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So that wraps up this deep dive, but I hope the conversation keeps going.
Yeah, we want to hear from you.
What stood out to you about this guy's story? What did you learn?
Tell us on social media. Or even better, send us your own ideas for future deep dives.
We're always looking for interesting people and their stories.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
See you in the next deep dive.